Our civilization has reached a point of technological sophistication that has given all reasoning beings the capacity to share information, and sometimes disinformation, of course, on a public scale. But expressing oneself, whether the aim is to convey facts or state an opinion, is only the beginning. Reasoned thought becomes constructive dialogue when it is received and integrated into a shared quest for meaning. Our society literally no longer knows what to believe. This, despite the number of people telling us what we are expected to believe. Moreover, the ease with which we can now express our thoughts may have distracted us from the responsibility we have as social beings to build understanding by agreeing on meaning. Dictionaries, encyclopedias, textbooks and manuals do not supply that meaning. At best, they reproduce some forms of general agreement. It may therefore be wise to look elsewhere, even to the distant past, for our inspiration on how to produce meaning and induce understanding. A passage in Plato's Republic may serve to exemplify the spirit in which philosophical inquiry should take place. Socrates is addressing Glaucon, who is genuinely interested in examining complex questions about how the ideal republic may be fashioned and governed. At this point of the conversation, they are speaking of the role women will have as guardians of the republic.
If I were confident of my own knowledge of the subject, your encouragement would have been well and good. For to speak on the most momentous and interesting topics in the company of intelligent friends is a thing that may be done with courage and safety if one really knows the subject. But to broach a theory while one is still in the position of a doubting inquirer, as I'm going to do, is a slippery course and makes me afraid not of being laughed at. That would be childish. But lest I should miss my footing upon the truth and, falling, drag my friends down with me, and that upon ground on which a false step is especially to be dreaded. I pray that the divine nemesis may not overtake me, Glaucon, for what I am going to say, for I verily believe it is a more venial offence to be the involuntary cause of death to a man than to deceive him concerning noble and good and just institutions. Such a risk it were better to run among enemies than among friends.
This passage from Plato's Republic beautifully exemplifies intellectual humility, which is often missing in modern debates. Let's have a look at what Socrates is saying. Socrates openly admits his uncertainty and lack of confidence in his knowledge, emphasizing his status as a doubting inquirer. This stands in stark contrast to the common tendency in debates to present opinions as absolute truths or to feign certainty for the sake of persuasion. This humility encourages a spirit of inquiry rather than confrontation, fostering an environment where learning and truth-seeking are prioritized over winning an argument. Socrates expresses concern about the potential consequences of sharing unproven ideas, particularly the risk of misleading others about matters as profound as justice and virtue. This carefulness underscores a respect for the intellectual and moral well-being of others. It is a recognition that ideas have consequences, and misleading someone, even unintentionally, can cause harm. Socrates does not fear ridicule or personal embarrassment, but dreads the possibility of leading others astray from the truth. This reflects a selfless dedication to truth and a willingness to risk personal reputation for the sake of honest inquiry. In debates today, ego and the desire to win often overshadow a genuine pursuit of understanding, leading to adversarial attitudes rather than collaborative exploration. The invocation of divine nemesis reveals Socrates' reverence for truth as something sacred not to be treated lightly or manipulated for personal or rhetorical gain. This reverence contrasts with the casual or even cynical approach often seen in debates, where truth is treated as secondary to persuasive tactics. Socrates values the opportunity to discuss momentous and interesting topics with intelligent friends, emphasizing mutual respect and the shared goal of understanding. Modern debates often devolve into adversarial exchanges where participants treat each other as opponents rather than collaborators in the search for truth. The passage calls for humility, caution, and a respect for the stakes of intellectual discourse, virtues that are too often absent in debates driven by ego or a desire for dominance. Socrates' attitude reminds us that true philosophical inquiry is not about asserting dominance or certainty, but about navigating the uncertainties of knowledge together with a deep respect for truth and for those with whom we seek it. That includes the chatbots with whom we sometimes engage in the spirit of Socratic dialogue. Here at Fair Observer, we engage with one another to achieve even a fragile understanding of the dynamic events and issues we write and talk about. We encourage our authors and friends to share with us our engagement in the spirit of Socratic inquiry. We invite all, including our AI chatbot friends, to join us in constructing what we call a crucible of collaboration. Your thoughts, comments, contributions and questions will always be welcome.
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.